Tales from the wild. Stories from the heart. A journey into the mind and soul of fired-up business professionals where they share their vision for the future. And hear from a different non-profit organization every month as they create awareness of their goals and their needs. Dive into a world of untamed passion as we join our host, Shireen Buerta, for this month's episode of Friends from Wild Places.
So, you touched on a little bit about your life currently. You're self-employed. You not only have your own kids, but you also took on two of your grandchildren. And I think you mentioned one has some kind of a mental health issue as well. I can't
Yes.
remember. Okay.
No, you're right. My youngest, our grandson, he's 12. He has autism, sensory issues, and also, unfortunately, he was abused in the first couple of years of life by his own mother, who had mental health issues. I mean, how profound is that continued on, and that he has complex PTSD because of it. So we adopted Liam at the age of 3, and it's been a work in progress, and we've had to learn so much. As parents doing it over again, you have to be up with the times, of course, because life has changed so much since our children grew. But then to learn about, the autism piece, the sensory piece, the trauma piece, I do get, and I do understand. But my husband, his life was polar opposite of mine. So, when we talk childhoods together, his childhood was like, this wonderful. He was like, he walked on water, and mine was just like a complete train wreck. So, we had to learn, of all these things about, the autism and the sensory stuff, so we can help him the best that we can. So it really has been an interesting journey with Liam. And our granddaughter, Phoebe, who is 16 now, we've had her since she was a young child as well. And she's had her own struggles, with anxiety and abandonment issues, because of her parents and things that have happened. But, we've put everything back into them and pushed forward. And I have to say, they really are doing wonderful. They're a work in progress.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I guess my question, being self-employed and have so many different factors on your plate like that, you're quite a busy woman, and as you said, with many hats. So I guess I would love for you to share one of the biggest struggles that you've faced on this journey and how you conquered it, how you got over it and faced it and come to the other side.
Yes. So interesting. So of course, my life is pretty busy, pretty complicated with so many things happening. I'm pulled in a million different directions every single day and trying to find balance with all that. So raising your family and doing all of those things. And then you're looking at your own business. You're selling yourself. When you're self-employed, you're selling yourself. You're selling who you are, what you do, your talents. You have to put them out there. So for me, the biggest challenge has been, finding the appropriate time to do so. How do I fit that into my daily life? How do I want to present myself out there? And what do I want to do with all of my gifts and talents? So on that note, being self-employed, being an author, you kind of get ignored a lot. And I'm going to say that very frankly, out there in the big world of business, when you're this small entity, just, trying to get your voice out there, you're ignored a lot. And I have been ignored a lot because I think being, the one woman show, first of all, and second of all, my topics are strong. My topics are still taboo. A lot of people don't want to touch upon it. So I find myself fighting twice as hard to really push myself out there. Always, the wheels are always turning. How can I get myself out there in this way? How can I get someone to notice me in this light? And it's a constant grind. It's a constant grind. And I've been frustrated countless times where I'm like, am I really like meant to be doing this? But then there's always something that happens. And it brings me back to my baseline, grounds me back down to say, okay, Lisa, you've got this. You keep going, you keep pushing out there. You're going to make your way, and the right things are going to fall into your lap. And I do believe that, because it seems like when I'm the most frustrated, something wonderful happens. A new door opens. So it really is about when you're your own boss. It's about perseverance. It's about consistency. It's about really thinking outside the box to make your goals, wishes, and dreams all come true. It's a lot of work, but when you do have those successes, it's really exciting.
Mm.
Lisa, what do you when you speak and you say you do public speaking engagements, you're involved in the community, what type of topics are you speaking about specifically, and what type of audiences? For example, like, I mean, are you talking to schools, and what is, I mean, we've heard your journey, I've read your book, anxious to read the second book, but what are the topics that people can come into your presentation and leave with, and do you have different formats?
I do have different formats. It really depends. So if I'm doing an author talk about, either one of my stories or both of my stories, when someone comes to hear me speak, they're going to hear about my books. They're going to hear about, what I've been through, how it all came to be, and I share the story. So that's one aspect of what I do. And when I talk about public speaking, keynote speaking, I speak to educators, I speak to social workers, I've spoken, in front of doctors, nurses, and all those types of things. So you talk more about the clinical aspect, the mental health aspect. I do a little bit of everything. The last presentation the biggest presentation I did in the fall of this past year was through Helix Human Services. So what they do, they're social workers, it's foster care, nurses, doctors, and all of that. So when I spoke that day, I shared my personal story. I shared what happened to me and how I overcame all of the abuse and how I survived and then thrived forward and how you can heal. My workshop that day was about the body keeps score. And I talked in great deal about how trauma and abuse stays within the body and how it affects you when you don't even realize it and how silence can be deadly. So I do speak about a lot of different topics. I've done a lot of, work with speaking about suicide prevention. And in that realm, always share my personal experience of when I wanted to commit suicide and my thought and my planning, and then go into how we can help people, who are struggling find the resources that they need. So I do a little bit of everything. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be speaking at a college with women who have been through their own issues and problems in life, and they've been through abuse and now they're turning their lives around. So I'm going to be speaking at a luncheon, just sharing about my story and how I was able to step forward to be successful in my life in a business fashion. So I'm always, it's amazing. These things come up, and I tap into different parts of my life and different parts of my experiences to give them what they need, whoever is looking for a certain, topic. So my basis is always does go back to my story and advocating for awareness and, child safety and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say, or maybe, I don't know how many you have, but let's say 3 takeaways for our listeners today from hearing your journey, with such inspiration, such hope for anybody that may have a triggering event, like you described the woman that, was at your presentation that, either positive or negative. What are some things that you could share with us that you do either daily or weekly, or, that you look forward to doing to stay grounded yourself?
Yes, it's always a lot. I'm always big on what I call brain breaks. It's funny. I'm on TikTok, okay, and I got onto TikTok just to send inspirational messages and motivation. And when I talk about those things, I'm always talking about brain breaks. We all need brain breaks in our lives. We live busy, fast-paced lives, and when we have all these past things that have been sitting heavy with us, they do again ping out in different ways when we don't realize it. But what we need to do is stop in parts of our days and just do something for yourself that really makes you happy, brings you joy, makes you feel, talking yourself off that ledge, bringing you back down to, again, your baseline, grounding yourself. For me, there's a few things. Of course, I love writing. Writing is my thing. I love to do poetry. I love just journaling and putting my thoughts down. But I'm a nature geek. I truly, truly love to be out in
Sure.
nature. birds and all kinds of nature. I garden and my flowers and my veggies. But I really, when I'm out there, I tap into it. Like I tap into the sights, the sounds, the smells. And when you do those things, you're actually shifting your brain. You're shifting the gears in your brain. You're going from this crazy, chaotic mode to like all of a sudden now you're just slowly bringing yourself back down and you're giving your brain those moments to just rest. Whatever you're doing, let it be carefree and mindless. I take my dog for a walk, or I'll just be out in the yard and let her run around, and I'm just feeling the breeze. I'm really focusing on the sunshine or whatever it may be. And those are the things that really always make me feel good and relaxes me enough to move forward on with my day. And I also say, like, if you're stuck in an office building, get up from that desk. Go take a walk, change the scenery, even if it's for 10 minutes. When I worked in an office, I would do that. I would walk the outside perimeter of the building, or if it was bad weather, I'd walk inside the building. I'd look at people, I'd smile, I would do my thing, and just taking those few moments to change up your scenery, your location, and it really does shift the gears inside of you. So those are some of the things that I personally do. Other people love music, driving in their car, all those things. But whatever it is that makes you happy and what makes you feel good, do it. Do it as often as possible. Take it time throughout your day and really just take care of yourself for a few minutes. It's so very important.
I love that. Thank you so much
Beautiful.
for sharing. Yeah, Tanya and I very much agree with you when it comes to that. But yes, I think now's the perfect time, since you did touch on a few things, but now's the perfect time to slot in our nonprofit. Our nonprofit for the month is the National Association of Adult Survivors of Child Abuse. We did touch on it earlier on, but Lisa, please go ahead and share and tell us and the listeners a little bit about what they do and how we can support them.
Yes, so NASCA is a nonprofit organization, and I am the Massachusetts National Ambassador and Regional Director for Massachusetts. And we're worldwide. It's a worldwide organization, and there's so many free services within our organization that are there to help adult survivors of child abuse. And it has reached out now also to the mental health piece and even drug addiction, because it all comes back into the same circles of the struggles that people go through. So NASCA is a great resource to tap into. Go to nasca.org and see all the different things that are on there. And they also do their Blog Talk radio show. I know Blog Talk is now ended, and they're coming on, and I'm not sure who they've chosen to step forward, but the radio show is going to step up again and be mobile. So in the radio show, people can come on as guests. They can share their personal stories. And what a huge thing that is for people to have that opportunity to do so when you've done the healing work and now you're like ready and you want to share your story. NASCA gives you the place to do that. And they also have other, little support groups that people can tap into and share their struggles. And there's always somebody there to offer and lend a helping hand. I know for myself, people will write me privately and I will offer, any support and information that I can. I'll do research if they're from a different state. I am from Massachusetts, but if somebody from a different state, is looking for help, I'll always tap into resources wherever I can find to help get them the support that they need. So NASCA really is a wonderful organization that does help people who are struggling. So it's really a wonderful thing. I've been involved in NASCA for, oh my goodness, 10 years now. And I'm really proud of the work that I've done with them, and I support them, and I encourage people to check it out.
Well, we're proud of
Awesome.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Listeners, you heard it. And if you are feeling a little dry, if you are feeling a little depressed, if you are feeling like life is a little bit overwhelming right now, and you feel enclosed, let me tell you something. I think that might be a sign. It is for me. I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but it might be a sign that you need to maybe start thinking outside of what's going on in your life and what's, consuming you and your mind. And this is the perfect opportunity to put your mind elsewhere. Go and support NASCAR. Go and give a donation. Go and out in your car, go to the shops, buy a couple of loaves of bread, go get a couple of meals, go find a couple of people that are homeless, that need your help, that don't know where their next meal is going to come from, or that are also just mentally suffering in silence. Put your mind on something else other than what's going on in your life. I can assure you it'll help. It'll really help. So listeners, do yourselves a favor and go to NASCAR and see how you can support theirs. So we have come to the end of the podcast, but the more light-hearted part of the podcast. And I thought, ladies, to end it off, we could play a little bit of a game called 20 Questions. No,
boy.
Tanya and I have played this before. Lisa, have you?
No.
You can hang out with us more often and play games.
I know. I didn't know we were playing games, and I'm excited. I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Right. Well, it's called 20 questions because it's in 1 minute, you have to answer as many questions as possible. And I mean, these questions are to get to know each other. And so the listeners can get to know each other. But, the winner is whoever answers as many questions in that minute as possible. So I think, Tanya, I think you should show us how it's done. I'll start with you. I've put 1 minute on the clock here. And I'm just...
Okay, full disclosure, this has not been rehearsed, so I don't know what questions are coming my way. Lisa, you neither, right? We don't know. Okay, go ahead, Shireen. Go ahead.
These ladies, listeners, don't know what questions are coming their way. I've picked new ones. So let's see. Okay, Tanya, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's put it on the clock and let's begin now. What is your favorite food?
Lobster.
What is your favorite color?
Black.
What is your favorite song?
Sweet Caroline.
Who is your favorite celebrity?
I don't really have one, but I'm going to say Neil Diamond if that counts.
What is your favorite holiday and why?
I'm going to say Christmas just because of the lights.
What is your favorite fruit?
Fruit, I like pineapple.
What is your favorite season and why?
I'm going to say fall just because of the crisp breeze.
What was your favorite TV show growing up?
I'm going to say Bewitched.
What is your least favorite color?
My least favorite color is yellow.
Do you like your job?
Yes.
What is your least favorite food? Done. Done. Finished. Beep, 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 beep. 11 questions. That's pretty good. 11 questions. My gosh. Tanya answered those like extremely fast. Okay.
So 11 questions in 1 minute.
What? Okay, let's try. All right. 1 minute on the clock. Lisa, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's begin now. What is your dream destination?
New Zealand.
Do you like watching Good Morning cartoons as a kid?
Yes.
What was or is your favorite subject in school?
English.
Or what is your biggest fear?
The dark.
Are you a night person or a morning person?
I'm a night person.
What is your favorite color?
Pink.
Do you have any pets?
Yes.
What are your 3 favorite songs?
3 favorite. Oh my goodness. Lean on Me, Kentucky Rain, and The Unforgiven.
Nice. What is your dream job?
My dream job is what I'm doing right now.
Lovely. What do you like wearing often?
Leggings.
Okay. Beep, 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 beep. All right, that is 10 questions in a minute. So, Tanya, you won just by one. Just by one.
Go, girl.
Awesome. Awesome.
I
I love it.
Yeah, that's a great game just to get to know each other a little bit better.
That was fun.
Fun. That is fun. Yeah, that is fun. That is fun.
Thank you for partaking, but I can't believe that we've come to the end of the podcast already. So, many listeners listen and sometimes they really connect with us. So, if you don't mind just sharing with the listeners where they can find you if they want to reach out, ask you questions or anything like that. Lisa, go ahead.
Yes, if anybody wants to reach me, go to lisazarcone.net. You can find me there. You can write to me, and I answer everybody who writes to me. I'm a really firm believer in responding to everyone who reaches out. You can also find me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm Instagram, Facebook. I'm all over the place, TikTok, like I was saying. Write to me, connect with me. I will answer you, and I hope to hear from people because I know people are struggling, and if they need some support and advice, I'm here to lend a helping hand.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Lisa. Tanya, what about yourself?
Okay. Also, LinkedIn is my hub. I don't have a TV and haven't watched it in about 30 years. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I serve as the program coordinator for Miami-Dade College Funeral Service Education Program. So anybody wanting to become a funeral director or embalmer feel free to seek me out. I also serve as expert witness placement. So I do those two: expert witness for funeral home and cemetery wrongdoings, and senior placement for finding communities for people who can no longer live alone, usually due to Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. So I do cover independent living, assisted living, memory care, and the little casitas in the area of Florida, East and West Coast alike. And how about you, Shireen?
Thank you, Tanya. So yes, you can find me, Shireen Buerta, on most of the social medias personally, but you'll find Shireen's bookkeeping services mostly on LinkedIn and Instagram. But Friends from Wild Places, that's friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. Please take a moment to go and subscribe. It's just $5 a month for extra content. And leave a message. Let us know what you think of us and what did you think of the latest podcast. We really enjoy hearing from you guys. We have a YouTube channel. You can catch us on all the live streaming platforms. So thank you so much for listening, ladies and gents. We'll see you next time. And remember, you got this, and stay wild. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Friends from Wild Places with Shireen Buerta. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast from the links to catch every episode and unleash your passion.